Hi, here's my next album. Now, this album was completely done without any forethought really whatsoever. The only thing I thought about was the fact that I had seen somebody create a pocket using patterned paper and their sewing machine. Now, I don't know how to sew, but I do have a sewing machine. And so I thought, well, let's get it out and see what I can do. So I got out this old sewing machine, and it had some basic stitches and it did zigzag, and I got out the manual, and it took me about half an hour to figure out how to thread the stupid thing. And you know, why do they make holes in these things for people who have average size hands? You must have to have little microscopic fingers to get things threaded, and really good eyesight. And I do not have small fingers, and I do not have good eyesight. So that's probably why it took me half an hour to thread the machine. But once I got it threaded, I started experimenting with it, figured out how to do a straight stitch and how to do a zigzag. And from there, I created this album. Now, I created this album on the whole thing from beginning to end in an afternoon on a Saturday. I just sort of went with the flow. So here it is, and it's a 6x6 album. And what I did was I had this neat pattern paper, and so I started with the cover. And if you've seen some of my previous videos, you know how I like to laminate with layers my covers for my albums to make them a little stiffer. I did not do that with this one because this paper was fairly stiff to start with. All I did was I put two pieces of it together. Actually, I cut a 12x6 strip, because it was a 12x12 sheet of paper, folded in half this way, and then I just stitched it with a zigzag across the top. Now, the one problem I have with the zigzag is it tells you in the sewing book, and if I knew how to sew, this would probably have been a lot easier, you can do a back stitch. But I thought that looked kind of messy with the zigzag, so I did try that, didn't like it, so I pulled that out, just did a straight zigzag, and then just to keep the ends from unfraying, I took a little bit of goldy yellow stickles and just put it on the ends of each of these corners on both sides, and it dries it, holds it, and you can't really see with this paper. It blends right into it. So for the cover, I used my Cricut, took another piece of the paper, cut it out, used a black ink pad, and just went around to give it a little outline. Cut another matching shape in a coordinating paper, stamped a butterfly. Those of you who've seen my previous videos know that I'm a little obsessed with butterflies when it comes to decorative elements. I don't know why, I just like them. And put that in the center. And then for the treatment here, I used my cinch to bind everything when I was done, and added these ribbons to the sides. So, inside. Same technique with the paper, folded it in half, but in this case, instead of doing a zigzag with it, because I wasn't making this particular page into a pocket, and I used the zigzag on the other one just as a decorative element, I just glued them together. And again, cut out this shape, more coordinating paper in the center. This whole album just has places for pictures and journaling, whatever the user would like to do. Backside, similar thing. Now here's the pocket idea. And what it is again, I took a 12x6 inch piece of this paper that I cut, folded it in half, and then I zigzag stitched it along the edge. And I used black on this one because I didn't really want the stitching to show up as an element, although you can see it, but it created this neat little pocket, and it's very secure. Then I took a round punch and just on the half cut out the little piece here so it's easy to get into. And then I created these tags. Again, I didn't put a lot of thought into this. I just let it happen. And so I just went to this paper pack. All this paper came from the same paper pack. I don't know what it's called. Doesn't matter. I know people on these videos are always telling you what manufacturer is of the paper, what paper pack it's from. But you know, usually you can't find those again, or you don't remember the name anyways. So, you know, I just grab what I like, and there we go. So I cut out these tags, two different styles. This one had a little point kind of a thing to it. This one's more of a scallop out of that paper. I didn't really sit down and plan where I was going to have the graphics that came on the paper. I just let it do its thing. On the back it's blank, single layer. can write whatever you want on it, put pictures on it, and then put in some ribbon in the holes, and presto bingo, done. And they fit in here. Now, yeah, they fit in here if I put them in correctly. Okay, open this up. So they go in here, and I'll let them hang out a little bit because, again, you know, the ribbon's hanging outside of the book when it's closed up, I think is kind of nice. It's decorative. So really, this is all, these pages are what are repeated in here. There's the one I showed you before that's just glued together. Now this is the third type of page that I created. I thought it needed a little bit more variety, so I took a piece of this paper, which is cut 12 by 6, fold it down, fold it in half, fold it one flap, or did I fold this in half? No. This one is not folding. It's a 6 by 12. Yeah, I can't remember now. Okay. I'll run a video to show you how to make this, but this is pretty basic, so I'm sure anybody can do it without much instruction. So, it's a flap, folded it over, glued it down along this edge. This edge didn't need to because it's already cinched up. Creates a pocket, cut out a shape that I thought kind of was reminiscent of that shape out of that paper, and inside put in a framey background plate, used the ink pad again to ink it, folds up, there. You can use it for journaling, you can use it for pictures, whatever. Same on this side. Okay, and I glued these two pieces together just to make them more substantial. Here we go with the pocket again, tags, same as what I said before, just notice these tags have not been stuck in there properly. And just repeated this. So I think this album has a total of about 12 pages total. And there you go, and there's this time with the pocket again, same shape. Like I said, didn't take a lot of thought, didn't take a lot of time, but completed a nice little album, cinched it all up, and there you go. So, that was an afternoon project, didn't take a lot of thought, learned something new, how to sew pockets together using the sewing machine. I also have a serger, and I'm going to try learning how to use that serger and see what I can do on paper with it. So, there you go. Hope you like it.